Welcome to the In Focus channel. Today we're going to continue to discuss scanning and scanning essentials because we want to bring these beautiful photographs from the past via the scanner into the future. So this is going to be a fun segment. I think we need to just take a time out for a minute. Before we keep going into the scanning stuff, I think we need to talk about what we're going to do with these and how we're going to make this transition work. So many people have thousands of photographs, and to take thousands of photographs and scan it, especially on this kind of a scanner, is going to take a lot of time. So I suggest one thing, and I've always suggested this to everybody I speak to about scanning, is you must edit. And then you got to edit again, and then you have to edit again. So before we start digging into the photographs, let's put on our gloves, and then that way we can make sure we don't get our finger marks on them, because that's only going to prolong the work with the scan. So here we go, especially in post. So here we go. Here's what we have. We have this beautiful box of negatives, slides, and prints. And what we're going to do is we're going to take these out here really quick. And you'll notice that these are negatives, and I can't see what they are. But a lot of times, if not most of the time, you have next to the negatives, you actually have a stack of prints that came with it. So these are the stack of prints that came with this particular negatives, these particular negatives. And what's nice about it is, if there's a print that I really, really like, I go through my prints and I find a print I like, I now can almost match it up with my negative by just looking at it. And oh, there it is right here, so I know I have it, and that's the one I'm going to put into my scanner and scan. So that's the way to do it. The reason why I want to scan a negative is because in the negative is a first generation scan. It's going to give you more detail than the print will, which is a second generation photograph. So that's how that works. Now, what's important about this is that when you went to the photo lab in the old days, a lot of times you'd get double prints, quadruple prints, and so forth, and that always would end up in the shoebox. And so a lot of times you'd have a lot of duplicates, and furthermore, some of the duplicates never made into the real photo album. They're actually like slightly different than the ones that made into the photo album, which are, you know, maybe some had the eyes closed, or maybe they were backlit, maybe the photograph was not 100%, but nobody could really throw away those photographs, so they end up in the shoebox. And so you're going to have a lot of duplicates, number one. You're going to have a lot of photographs that are not quite great. So, but you will also find some things in there when you start going through, that things you won't remember, and that those are some of the memories that are going to come back, especially when you get to the negatives themselves. You'll find some of the negatives that you may not have prints for anymore, and you'll be able to see things that you don't remember about your childhood or your parents' childhood. It's quite fun. Okay, so we're ready to do, this is how the prints work. Let's go and let's talk about slides. The slides come also in a plastic holder. You see we've got a lot of different things in here. These are the slides. And while the slides are really quite cool, and you can see what they are by just looking at them, you just kind of put them up towards the light and say, oh, wow, I remember that, I remember that. These are the slides we used to put into the slide projector on family evenings, and then people would sit down around the projector and watch these. Those days have passed somewhat. So right now, we're going to scan these and digitize these in. Now, because they're so small, slides are fairly small, they're fairly small image. We have a couple of tools that we use for that. There is the loop, the 8-powered loop. This is the old ACFA style loop. And when you do this here and you can hold it up to the light, you can really see the detail of the actual photograph. This particular one, the person has their eyes closed, so I probably would not scan that in. It would waste my time to scan it in. I can kind of see what I have before I do so. I go to some of the other ones, and that is a good one. And that's one I would suggest scanning in. And that's how you edit through the photographs. There's also this little tool right here, and you may have seen this before. You put the slide into the top, a little light bulb comes on the back, and you can see it like this as well, which is also another way of kind of editing slides. So my suggestion is that before you do any scanning, that you spend considerable time looking through your boxes of film and slides and negatives and prints, and you choose the ones that you really want to scan and take into the future. Bearing in mind that if you have 10,000 digital files, they're probably not going to be looking at that many in the future as well. So you kind of have to be very selective and think about what you want to project into the future, thinking about what you have from the past. That is my suggestion, that is my advice for doing scanning. So good luck with your scanning and with your editing, and come back to the InFocus channel and subscribe so we can teach you more. Thank you.